So there we were, on the bottom. My buddy and I were filming. We were closely watching our remaining dive time. In just a few minutes, the tide would be changing, and a very swift current was about to return. Located in the Sunshine Coast of British Columbia, Canada, is an inlet named the Skookumchuck Narrows. In this part of the world, the tidal range is around 12 feet, which can result in some strong currents. At one very narrow part of the inlet is the location of the Seashelt Rapids. The locals simply refer to this as the Skook. It's shallow here, and when the tide changes direction, about 200 billion gallons of seawater tries to funnel through this constriction. The water stacks up on either side of the rapids. Its height can differ by as much as 6 feet, and the water can accelerate to 16 knots. My dive buddy Jim and I heard that the dive into the Skook was amazing, not just for the challenge of the dive, but also because the bottom was a rainbow of marine life. Our first dive this weekend was into the heart of the rapids at a dive site named Observation Wall. Now, we don't dive here when the current is running. To do so would be fatal. We target a brief 15-minute window of slack water which occurs between tides. When we get to go to splash, the divers all jump in as fast as they can. So why the heck do we dive here? Well, the colors are simply amazing. After about 10 minutes or so on the bottom, we notice that the small kelp fronds have changed direction, and we can feel the tug of the water moving the opposite direction. That's our cue that it's time to wrap up this dive and to exit the water immediately. If we don't, in just a few minutes, the water will reach treacherous speeds. It's a pretty good feeling when you complete a dive in the heart of the rapids. That night, we decided we would return the following day and get a few more shots. So early the next morning, we were on the bottom filming during another slack window. Normally during a dive here, at the very first hint of the returning current, that's when you call the dive and exit the water. However, I have to admit, I got a bit preoccupied filming. You know, I had to get that one last shot. Well, we didn't notice that the current had already turned until it was too late, and before we knew it, we were flying. We discovered that it's a bit difficult to make a safety stop in the current, especially in the kelp. But we managed to pull it off and we got out of the water just before the water became too strong. But I've got to tell you, shooting the Skook was an amazing experience. Our memories are full of unforgettable images, and so are the memory cards.